Good morning, children. Let us see the poem in Unit 1, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. This is 9th standard, children. We will see what is in the poem. Now, I read the poem, you just follow the poem. Have you ever travelled through a forest? How did you feel? Did you have any time to stop and enjoy the beauty of the forest? These are the questions asked by the poet. Have you ever stopped and have you ever admired the nature in forest? Do we have time to see all this? These are the questions asked by the poet. This is a very beautiful poem, Robert Frost, and he was liked by our former Prime Minister, first Prime Minister of independent India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He liked the last 4 lines he has written in this particular poem. Now, we will see in this poem what he says, what he reflects, and what is man's life here. How far he is connected to nature is what all he portrays in this poem. Whose woods these are? I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Now, this particular season is a heavy winter season where the snow is falling and the ground is covered with snowflakes. So, the poet here mentions, I am travelling through a thick wooded forest where snow is covered. There is no the atmosphere is very cold. There are no leaves on the trees and there are no birds. It was a very chilly evening. The poet passes through the wood with this horse. So, here the first line is, whose woods these are? I think I know. Whose woods are these? He is asking the first question, whose woods are these? This is not his own. This is somebody is owning this wood. His house is in the village though. Though the wood is here, his house is far away in the village. He will not see me stopping here. Will the owner be able to see the poet stopping here? No. He is in his village in the house and the poet is in the woods and he is stopping in the woods to see what is all around him, to watch his woods fill up with snow. This is what he sees. Completely it was chilly evening and the snowflakes were falling heavily. So, he was standing there and he was looking around. The poet was looking around. My little horse must think it cure. Here he is travelling in a horse and he says cure. Now, the horse is completely is taken aback by the poet's attitude because it is a heavy cold winter. The poet suddenly stops in the middle of the wood. So, the horse is thinking, why my owner is stopping in the wood suddenly with such heavy cold evening? What is the reason? He doesn't know. The horse doesn't know. Cure, strange. Underline the word cure. It is strange. To stop without a farmhouse. The question here, the next line is without a farmhouse. Usually in the woods there will be a farmhouse where the farmers used to stay for a short time taking rest. After their work, they will go and take a rest in that house. So, there is no, when you look around, there is no farmhouse nearby. Everything is very quiet and here the horse is thinking, why my owner is stopping here without a farmhouse? Where to go and take rest? Between the woods and the frozen lake. The woods, and when you cross that you have the frozen lake. The lake is not in a liquefied state. It is in the frozen state. Completely the lake is covered with snow. So, the horse is thinking, why my owner is stopping suddenly here? The darkest evening of the year. So, it was the darkest evening of the year. The winter is so very acute. So, it is completely dark. Almost it was like night. It was not an evening. It was like night. Completely dark and there is no light in the woods. He gives his harness bells a shake. Now, the horse is feeling very cold and immediately he wants to move from that place. The animal wants to move from the place with his owner and he shakes his harness bell, a bell tied around his neck. That is the way he wants to show his discomfort. He doesn't want to stand in the wood in such a horrible weather, so he shows his discomfort by shaking the harness bell, the bell that is tied around his neck. To ask if there is some mistake, the only other sound, the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. So here the poet sees the strong wind blowing with the strong chilly wind, and the flakes were falling heavily, and the lake was very, very cold, completely covered with icebergs. The woods are lovely. Again he comes here and he says, to his opinion, the woods are lovely, dark and deep. Note these lines. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. This is the famous line quoted by the poet Frost. Says, to his opinion, the wood, he sees the wood, it is very lovely. The wood looks very lovely to his eyes, very dark. It was a dark evening, there was no light. And deep, when you go inside, it is going deep, deep inside, he is walking. But I have promises to keep. See the line? But I have promises to keep. He has a promise that he has to go home and reach his family. So he says, but I have promises to keep, and minds to go before I sleep, and minds to go. The last two lines are the famous lines repeated by the poet, and that was liked by our Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Pandit Nehru. He liked those lines because the two lines are the meaningful lines quoted by the poet. But I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Before he could go to sleep, he has to reach his destination. Another one is death. Before I could go home, I should go and reach my destination safely. I should not fall sick on my way, or I should die. These are the lines, famous lines liked by Nehru. So, it's a very beautiful poem written by Robert Frost, a favorite poet liked by everyone. He always attaches himself to nature. Nature and Frost are together. In higher secondary poem, I taught After Apple Picking. That was also a very beautiful poem written by Robert Frost. It was long time back, 20 years back. After Apple Picking. This is another famous poet written by Robert Frost, which is liked by many of the people. Now, we will see the rhyme scheme of the poem. First 4 lines says, no, though, here, snow. So, the odd word out is here. So, the rhyme scheme is A. Here will not go with no and though. So, that becomes B, and snow will come as A. So, the first 4 lines are A, B, A. That is the rhyme scheme I have written here. A, B, A. The rhyming words are no, though, snow. The 3 words are rhyming words. The one odd word is here. That will not go with the rhyming words. When we go to the second stanza, cure is A, near is A, lake is B, and here is A. So, again the rhyme scheme is A, B, A. What is the odd word out here is lake. Cure, near, here. These 3 words rhyme together. So, they all come under the category of A, and B is left. So, the second stanza is also A, B, A. Now, the third stanza is shake, mistake, sweep, flake. Again we see the third stanza is A, B, A. So, first 3 stanzas we have the same rhyme scheme, and it is very easy for you to understand. Shake, mistake, flake. These are the rhyming words. Sweep is the odd word that will not go with the rhyming word. Now, we come to the 4th stanza. Deep, keep, A. Sleep, sleep, that is also A. The last 4 lines reflects A, 4 A's. All the 4 words are rhyming words. Deep, keep, sleep, sleep. So, I hope you understood the poem very clearly, children. The last two lines are repetition. If they ask you the poetic device, the last two lines are repetition of the poem. Now, we see the personification of the poem here. My little horse must think it pure. So, these are the things, my little horse. Here the horse is personified. Here the poet reflects that he considers the horse as a person. He gives life to the person as a human being. So, he says it is considered as personification. The poetic device for this line is personification. Underline that, and you have to understand the poem very, very clearly. Cure, strange, woods, forest, harness, straps and fittings by which the horse is fastened to a cart or a carriage. Frozen, in ice form. Frozen means in ice form. Sweep, soft, gentle sound of the wind. Downy, feather-like. Flake, a small piece of something, that is icy flakes we see here. These are known as snow flakes. He will not see me stop. Now we come to the appreciation of the poem. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. What does he refer to? Here you have to write, underline the word he refers to the owner of the woods. Identify the season with these lines. It is winter. The season is winter. The first two lines I hope you understand, children. Appreciation of the poem. Who does he refer to? He refers to the owner of the woods. Identify the season with these lines. It is a winter evening. So, it is a winter season. My little horse must think it cure to stop without a farmhouse near. Who is the speaker here? The poet is the speaker here. Why should the horse think it cure? There is no farmhouse attached to the woods. So, he thinks it strange why my master is standing in the woods without any reason. That is what the horse is thinking. Pick out the rhyming words, cure, near. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. Whom does he refer to in these lines? He refers to the horse. Whom does he refer? He gives his harness. Underline the word he. He refers to the horse. Here you can understand it is not given as it. It is given as he, where it is personified. Uruvagapaduthirudhu. The horse is completely changed into a person, and he has given, the poet has given the qualities of the human form. So, he, he, it is not mentioned as it, it is he. So, those lines are personified, personification. Whom does he refer to in these lines? He refers to the horse. Why does he give his harness bell a shake? If there is any mistake, why should my master stop here? If there is any mistake on the way, why should he stop here? That is why he gives a harness bell a shake. How does the horse communicate with the poet? He gives the bell a shake. That is the way he communicates with. He cannot speak, so it gives the bell a shake where it rings, and the master is reminded that he must move forward and go home, reach home. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep. How are the woods? The woods are lovely, dense, dark. The poet likes the whole atmosphere, though the wood hasn't got any light, no birds, no leaves on the trees, no buds, no blossoms, nothing is there, but he likes the wood because the whole atmosphere is completely chilly and it is very dark and dense. That is why the poet likes the wood. What are the promises the speaker is talking about? Duties and responsibilities in life are referred here. He has, but I have promises to keep. Here he says, I have my own duties and responsibilities. Before I could sleep, that is a long sleep is death here. So, duties and responsibilities here he mentions here by saying, I have promises to keep before and miles to go before I sleep. He wants to finish his duties and responsibilities before he could die. These are the two lines repeated by the poet again and again. He must reach home and finish his duties and responsibilities for his family. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Why has the poet repeated the last line? He has repeated the last line because he has duties. He has some responsibilities to finish in his life. So he repeats the line. What do you mean by, explain the line, miles to go before I sleep? Until he is dead. Until his death. Before he could die, he wants to finish all his pending work. What all work is left undone, he wants to finish. Now write down the summary of the poem by filling the blanks. Now we will see what can be written. After a long travel, the poet entered a forest. He wondered to whom the wood belongs to. He realized that the owner of the wood lived in a village. Underline the, fill in the blanks, what all words I am saying, you fill it up. Forest, belong to, village. He was happy that the owner would not be able to see him stopping in his woods to watch snow fill the woods. See snow. The poet felt that the horse would think it very strange to stop near the woods as he had never seen before. He was actually standing between the woods and the frozen lake. The time was evening. The horse indicated that the poet has made a mistake by shaking its head. The poet felt that the woods are lovely, dark and deep. He suddenly realized that he had worldly responsibilities which would not allow him to stand in the woods for a very long time. This is the summary of the poem where you have to fill the blanks very clearly in that gap. Answer the question in 3 or 4 sentences. This we need not do because we have only paragraph answers and appreciation. We don't have short answers here. Identify the rhyme scheme used in each stanza. First stanza is A, B, A. I already taught you the first stanza is A, B, A. Second stanza is A, B, A. Third stanza is A, B, A. Fourth stanza is A. 4 A's because all the rhyming words are pronounced as the same. Alliteration. We find out the alliteration. Watch is woods. W, W. The first one is underline the first letter, watch and woods. These are the alliterated words. Personification is asked. Personified is my horse must think it cure. These are the lines where you have to understand very clearly personification. He doesn't say it, he says he. So that is why these lines are personified as my horse. Now we go on to the repetition of the lines. I told you the last 2 lines are the repetition, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles, these are the lines repeated in the poem. That is one poetic device you have to understand. Now listening. When you make a promise, keep it up even if it costs you more than expected. We need not bother about this writing exercise. We have done all the poetic exercises and you have to by heart this poem thoroughly. That is what I want you to do. Imagery. The last one is the poetic device here is imagery of easy wins. Easy wins and downy flake. This is known as imagery in poetic device. So I taught you everything very clearly. Rhyme scheme, rhyming words, personification, repetition of lines and imagery. Have you understood, children? Now you have to by heart the 4 lines every day, and this is a memory poem.